when I was a welder in the Glasgow shipyards. Oh, it was brilliant. So it was. Brilliant. Well, hello and welcome to this Thursday's movie news. I am Jonathan Walsh, back to discuss the latest entertainment, the hot thing in towns, plural, yes, we'll just go with it, in town, and entertainment. That's why it's up there, that's why it says movie news, that's why I'm here to talk a load of shite for potentially the next 40 minutes, and it may even run even longer. But look, as you've probably seen, if you've clicked on it, you'll see that the headline on the show tonight is all about The Matrix Resurrections, and that's because it's the only show in fucking town today. That's all anybody's speaking about. And as you'll see as we go through this show, we end up in a very peculiar topic to see it out. And that's because there is no news other than that topic right there. The trailer dropped today. It dropped at 2 PM BST, British summertime. What I say that is. Fuck knows what that does translate into in terms of other regions. Probably I want to say, I don't know, man. 10 o'clock in the morning, New York time. 8 o'clock in the morning, LA time. And by fuck did all the channels who are usually first out of the sort of door when it comes to reacting get their reactions out quick. My god, man, they must have been up at 6 in the morning, popping the coffee, just waiting on it dropping. Fucking saddles. But look, I digress. We're going to talk about the actual trailer here and how it does indeed, I'll go back to me, reunite Neo and Trinity. Once again, it's been, I want to say, about 17 years, maybe not as much as that, 16 years since we last seen this dynamic duo, this love interest on the screens. And look, man, it was probably the most, that and Morpheus and his almost paternal relationship he had over all of the unhinged, unhooked, brought into the real world humans in that original trilogy. That was probably the most intriguing relationship, those two characters. So it was so interesting to see them back on the screen again, but and not aware of their past relationship. And that was the big mystery for me in this trailer when I went in to watch it. It was just how they were going to attempt to explain why this is even happening. Why the fuck is this movie happening? Why is Neo, Thomas Anderson, reawakening in the Matrix? Why is he having to go through this whole palaver again? Why is Trinity there? Why is Morpheus a different actor? Why is he younger? It doesn't make any sense. And I'm happy to say they didn't explain any of that. So as Stephen rightfully said in the reaction, the thoughts that it's just went out, that's actually a good thing. That ain't a bad thing, because that puts us in a similar position to where we were all the way back in 99, I think it was, the original came out. Didn't have a clue what was going on, didn't know why we were here. We just went in and we enjoyed the experience. We've got about all of our troubles, all of the ills of the world, and let the Wachowskis take us on an amazing journey. Hopefully Lana is going to recreate some of that magic with this movie. But look, as you can see, I'm going to speak about the trailer. It's via Empire. There was a slightly meatier article coming in from Collider, which went through it bit by bit, but I ain't got time to do that. I've just spent 20 minutes talking about the actual trailer and the reaction I want to say about an hour ago, and I'm not willing to relive that again. I'm going to condense it slightly before moving on. And as you can see here, are you ready to tumble down the rabbit hole all over again? Well, yes, I was. That's why I clicked on the trailer, and that's why I'm excited for the movie. So yes, I was. Blah blah blah. Loads of guns. The long-awaited fourth chapter in the sci-fi saga brings, I should say, director Lana Wachowski back behind the camera. Lily is sitting this one out. Doesn't want to relive the past by all accounts. I did read that. With Keanu back as Neo and Carrie-Anne Moss returning as Trinity in a self-reflexive sequel sure to blow your minds. Check out the first official trailer. I've done it, I don't need to do that. As you can see, they say there's plenty to unpack. I'm not going to linger on this article, I'm just going to leave it. It was just to frame it. I had to pick something to just pop it up and just, frame what I'm going to speak about here. I'm going to briefly condense my thoughts on the trailer, what I thought on it in a visual standpoint, in terms of a story standpoint, what my thoughts were on it. I've kind of gave the game away there. I didn't think there was a huge amount of story to be had. They're deliberately playing coy. They don't want to give us too much. They don't want to give too much of a game away. But clearly, Yahya Abdul-Mateen II is playing a younger, different Morpheus to that which we've seen with Lawrence Fishburne 20 years ago. And I'm still on the fence in terms of what my thoughts are on that. I still think it's strange that you don't go to Lawrence Fishburne to bring back that character. You could have de-aged him, and I suppose it would have cost more fucking money. but it would have been better. Because you're bringing back Jada Pinkett Smith, you're bringing back Keanu Reeves, you're bringing back Carrie-Anne Moss, and I'm sure the Uri Geller Spoonbender will be in there at some point as well. You bring them all back, but you don't bring back Lawrence Fishburne, as that says just 5 minutes ago there. Maybe even not that. He was one of the most pivotal characters in that original trilogy. He was the paternal, I keep saying paternal, it's paternal, isn't it? Paternal figure for the humans fighting against the machines in that story. And for me, he was the second most important character, and it was the second most important relationship the audience had with the movie in terms of characters in that original trilogy. So for you to not go back and bring him in, that's a stickler for me, and it did wind me up watching the trailer, even though I knew he wasn't going to be in it. But that's not to do a disservice to Yahya Abdul-Mateen. I have to say, he looks a lot like Lawrence Fishburne. They have deliberately made him look a lot like him. He's got the jaw, he's got the sort of acne damaged face going on. He was wearing the glasses, he's muscular, and he was wearing dapper suits, and he had the dual wielded machine guns going on. So he looked for all the world like Morpheus, and although they didn't hit you over the head and say at any point in the trailer, this is Morpheus, it was Morpheus, and it's Yahya Abdul-Mateen who's playing him. There must be a reason why Lana Wachowski has made that creative decision not to bring back Lawrence Fishburne. It must be pivotal to the story. And they do say, and I'm going to get into the synopsis and why that's quite important, that it's going to go deeper than it ever did before, down the rabbit hole in the Matrix. And of course, in this trailer, we get lots of visual references to White Rabbits, to Alice in Wonderland, and that was something that was important in the previous movie. Lots of payback visually to that previous trilogy. Shots of Thomas Anderson coming into the real world, being freed from the Matrix, rockets flying past, shots of black cats, lots of payback and homage being paid to the original trilogy, but just completely discarding it in the same breath and moving on and giving us something fresh and something unique, I'm hoping, with the same characters we grew to love. You see Trinity, you see Neo holding out and hand shaking each other's hands. Don't know why that was so hard. And she asked the question, have we met? And he doesn't even answer, he just continues to linger on the handshake. Obviously remnants of the past still in there. And of course the whole trailer, well the first half anyway, was framed via the armchair of a psychiatrist, of a therapist, asking him questions and almost hypnotising him and bringing out some of the past memories of that original trilogy. So I found it so interesting the way they handled it, the way they handled the ripples of what we've seen 20 years ago, the way they handled these characters in their amnesiac sort of positions, not knowing each other but having some faint idea that they do. The way they handled Morpheus, the way they handled the agents, I just thought it was a really well put together 2.5 minutes of trailer, visually stunning, pioneering by the looks of it, and that's something I says was required for this movie to work. You have to be every bit as pioneering as the original in '99, and I think they've done that. There's some amazing visual effects shots in there. They're walking through mirrors, the mirrors are rippling. There's an amazing sequence where an agent comes out of a door, flips, and then you've got the character with the bow hair running along the wall. An incredible 2 seconds of footage. I was blown away by it. You've got fucking Neo redirecting missiles, and you've got him punching Morpheus. You've got people falling off of walls and fucking ricocheting off of buildings. There's all sorts of amazing visual stuff going on in here, and it just looks like a better, more modern take on the story, which is exactly what it is, but visually clean as a whistle. Technological wise, just unbelievable what she's doing with this movie, what the team who worked on it are doing. And again, without gibbering on too long, I wasn't initially keen in this movie, the idea of revisiting this world, of doing another Matrix movie. I did say with the caveat though that Keanu had read the script. He doesn't have to do it, he's picked it, it must be fucking good. Everyone that was involved in it says it was good. Then you look at the movie, it's shrouded in mystery, but it looks fucking good. It really does look good. Although I'm still missing Hugo Weaving and Lawrence Fishburne, and that hole will never be filled. Not by Neil Patrick Harris or whoever that Ray Winston-esque lookalike agent character was. Well, I'll be in that theatre the 26th or the 24th, whenever it's coming out. 20th, I don't know, but 22nd it's coming out. Got there in the end. I'll be in the theatre, man, to watch this movie. It's Christmas time, I'll be steaming, and I'll be watching The Matrix. Happy fucking days. But wait, I'm going to click on this briefly. This is a nice little article I like. No, it's not that. I don't care about that. We know that Morpheus is confirmed. And if actually, I think Yahya Abdul-Mateen did confirm it. There you go. As you can see, he's posted it. Morpheus. So it is indeed Morpheus. What a suit. What a get-up. If you didn't know that was Morpheus, you needed shot in the head, point blank. Because he's got the glasses on that are just utterly Morpheus, trademark. He's got the double, well, it's not a double-breasted suit, but the immaculately tailored suit, and the dual-wielding guns like Matrix 2, Matrix Revolutions. No, what was that? It wasn't Revolutions. What the fuck was that called? I don't know. I can't remember. Reloaded. And it's just such a cool shot. Seeing this guy walking about, he was incredible. He was a formidable presence in that trailer. And I'm not going to hold it against him that Lawrence isn't back. It's not his fault. But look, this is what I'm here to speak about as an aside to the trailer discussion. As you can see, Warner Bros. Have released an official Matrix Resurrections synopsis. And as they do rightly say here, Screen Rant, it interestingly refers to the film as a continuation of the story established in the first Matrix film. And as you can see here, I'm not going to do I can't even speak. I'm that excited. I'm not even going to read the rest of that. I'm going to get right into the synopsis. The Matrix Resurrections is a continuation of a story established in the first Matrix film. It reunites Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss as cinematic icons Neo and Trinity in an expansion of their story that ventures back into the Matrix and even deeper down the rabbit hole. A mind-bending new adventure with action and epic scale. It's set in a familiar yet even more provocative world where the reality is more subjective than ever. And all that's required to see the truth is to free your mind. And you're seeing that in the trailer as well. They're not even taking the red pill and their minds are being freed. There's some weird shit going on in here. Morpheus is touching a rippling mirror. Keanu's Neo is looking at it and it almost looks for a second that we're seeing Agent Smith staring back at him and then it transfigures into him. So there's ripples of reality breaking through the Matrix even without the taking of the red pill by the looks of it, if they're not already out of the Matrix and then getting back in when it's happening. Time will tell with that. 20 years after the first film, the franchise that helped define pop culture at the turn of the century is back for a continuation and extension of the original movie. And I think that's important, that line there. The Matrix remains in the zeitgeist as a film that has changed the way we look at cinema and reality itself. With its game-changing action and visual effects, The Matrix helped pave way for the films to follow. Look, part of me does ponder at times existentialism, whether we are living in a simulation. It's an advanced simulation played out by incredibly powerful creatures. Sometimes I wonder that, and then I slap myself and say, don't talk so much shite, John. But it's movies like this that do it. They make you ponder your existence. What is the meaning of life? And look, 20 years on, 22 years on, it is still a pivotal movie. It is still in the zeitgeist. And that's why I was so hesitant when I heard the news that they were going to go back and do another Matrix movie. Because I'm concerned with the current era of film that we're discarding parts of franchises of movies and we're cherry picking what we like and moving on with it. They've done it with Halloween. They've done it with, I'm sure, a couple of other ones. There's talk of Men in Black was the other one. There's talk of other franchises following suit with this sort of vibe where they'll discard sequels and they'll move on with originals and they'll take parts out of sequels and they'll take what they want and move on and they'll create their own little world. And sometimes it's devoid of any real imagination. It's devoid of any real emotion. And look, I don't want to slag off that David Gordon Green Halloween movie from 3-4 years ago because it wasn't a bad movie, but it wasn't anywhere near the original. And at times it felt like it was cherry picking elements and doing exactly what it was doing, a quasi sequel, which was half-arsed. It didn't want to create their own world, it didn't want to create another era of this character. They were transfixed with the original. And of course Star Wars as well was another one that did that. It was kind of transfixed with the original trilogy, couldn't get away from it, that sequel trilogy. And that really did destroy it creatively for me. There was never really any real originality. But where am I going with this, man? That line there, a continuation and an extension of the original. They don't mention Reloaded and they don't mention Revolutions. And I think that's important because they've clearly assessed where that franchise went wrong in the early 2000s and where it went right. And they've decided those two movies that came after the original don't count anymore. They're not in canon. We're moving away from them. We're going to create a direct continuation from the sequel, or from the original I should say. I don't know how that's going to work because there's no Lawrence Fishburne, there is no Hugo Weaving, and those characters were incredibly important in that first movie. How do you create a continuation? I don't know how they're going to do it. And that is just, again, the overarching thoughts on that trailer that came out. An incredible trailer to look at, a feast for the eyes, pioneering it looks like. But the story, we still have to find out why this is even happening. Why certain characters who were incredibly important to the original aren't there anymore. That is my one takeaway. If they can answer those questions and they can make it stick and they can make it feel organic, this movie will be fucking incredible, because everything else is. And you've got the originals back apart from Lawrence and Hugo. If they can get that right, it'll be amazing. But wait, I'm moving on though. I'm moving on to the next topic. I'm going to go into Marvel, as I always do when I'm doing solo shows, because it's cruise control for me. Speaking about Marvel, it's something I love, if you can't tell. Absolutely love the Marvel movies. I also love Martin Scorsese and his movies as well, so you can imagine how disappointed I was when Martin came out and referred to the Marvel movies as theme park rides, as theme park movies. I can understand what he was saying, of course. Some of them are airy, they don't really explore the human condition all that much, and they'll really just get in, get your money, enjoy it, and then fuck off, and then just repeat. And that's what you do when you go to a theme park. You go on roller coasters, you go on, I don't know what you go on, rides at a theme park. You enjoy it, you go back on it, you hated it, you move away. And that's in a sense what they've been trying to do with these superhero movies and a lot of modern movies in general. Make franchises that make a lot of money. Think of Jumanji, think of other ones that are not coming to me right away. And yeah, just churn them out and hope people will go and see them. And probably to the detriment of great indie directors having their ideas and their visions and their movies put on the same stage. But that's life, man. And as Paul Schrader from Raging Bull fame rightly says, it's just all part of evolution of the audience changing, the demographics changing, and demand for certain kinds of movies. And it's cyclical, I've said that before as well. But as you can see, he disagrees with Martin Scorsese's Marvel movie criticism. Love that graphic because of Marvel and because of Scorsese's incredible eyebrows. But I'm going to go down here and read this little quote from Schrader. Now, Schrader, in an interview with GQ, is the latest to offer his 2 cents. When asked point blank if he shares Scorsese's opinion, the Raging Bull screenwriter says no, Marvel's movies are cinema, but so, according to him, is Keyboard Cat. Well, I don't agree with that, but yeah, we'll get into it. No, they are cinema, so is that cat video on YouTube. It's cinema. It's kind of surprising that we used to regard as a adolescent entertainment, comic books for teenagers has become the dominant genre economically. Each generation is informed by literature, or informed by theatre, or informed by live television, or informed by film school. Now we have a generation that's been informed by video games and manga. That's slightly condescending, Paul. It's slightly condescending to this generation to say they've just merely been informed by manga, which I've never watched, by the way, and yeah, video games. I played a lot of video games, but I've been informed by great novels, the likes of J.R.R. Tolkien and Stephen King. I've been informed by classic movies from the 1950s, 40s, Charlton Heston movies, Yul Brynner movies, Charles Bronson movies, Steve McQueen movies. I've watched a fuck ton of movies, mate, from 50, 60 years ago, 70 years ago. So that's a slight generalisation in its own right to say that we've only been informed this generation by manga and video games. Just not true. And it's not that the filmmakers have changed, it's that the audiences have changed. And when the audiences don't want serious movies, it's very, very hard to make one. When they do, when they ask you, what should I think about women's lib, gay rights, racial situations, economic inequality, and the audience is interested in hearing about these issues, well then you can make the movies. And we have, particularly in the 50s and 60s and 70s, and I've watched them in the heat of the night. And movies like that exploring the civil rights issues in 1960s America with the great Sidney Poitier and Rod Steiger. I've watched these movies, man. So they're there. They can be consumed. Just because they were 60 years ago doesn't mean you can't watch them. Everything's still there. And the audience is interested, blah, 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 50s, 60s, 70s. We were making them 1 or 2 a week. We were making them 1 or 2 a week about social issues because that's all you had. And they were financially successful because audiences wanted them. Then something changed in the culture. The centre dropped out. those movies are still being made, but they're not in the centre of the conversation anymore. And I think that's the most important thing in that whole quote there. That's the most important line, sentence, if you like. They're still being made, but not centre of the conversation anymore. There is still some great human condition movies out there, some great independent movies being made. And if you're a fan of film, you will find a way to consume them, to see them, and speak about them, and review them, and react to them. We've reacted to some great stories. We were just talking about it. Stories like Stillwater, stories like Darkwater. Stories like, I'm trying to think, Sophie Shaw, a foreign language German movie about an incredibly brave 18-year-old girl, 19-year-old girl who sacrificed their own life for getting out word, in a sense, about the atrocities of the Nazi regime during World War II. These movies are still being made. You can still watch them. It's like music. It's too generalised to say that music's shit now and it was amazing 50 years ago. There's still some good fucking music out there if you actually want to go and search for it. It'll not be found in the charts. And it's just the same in the theatre and in the movies industry. If you want to find right good movies, there'll be gems out there. You have to work hard to find them, but they will be out there. And there's still guys like Scorsese and Nolan and Tarantino and your Greengrasses and your Coen brothers. They're still churning those movies out, man. And they're still attracting incredible actors. Adam McKay's just reacted to Don't Look Up. Fucking Jennifer Lawrence, Leonardo DiCaprio. Other people in there whose names I'm blanking on, Meryl Streep. It's getting incredible. Kate Blanchett. And you've got your guy Eli Roth doing a Borderlands movie literally about a video game and casting Kate Blanchett and your Kevin Harts. There is movies out there of different tiers of seriousness which will explore the dark and gritty issues of human life, and you can get them. But they're not centre of the conversation. Right now, it's these comic book heroes. Movies that are centre of the conversation. They're in vogue. And look, I think, as I says time and time again, you have to give geeks of a certain age their fucking due. They deserve to see these movies. They lived and breathed these graphic novels growing up. And there wasn't the technology to make them real. It wasn't the technology to put them on the silver screen. Now there is. Now there's a desire. Now there's a seriousness from studios to make it happen because they're making money. And you fuckers are begrudging them. So look, I say well done to Paul Schrader for, in a sense, saying that it is cinema. Not to be such a snobbish bastard, Martin Scorsese. Even his daughter was actually coming out and slagging him, incidentally. Don't be snobby, it is cinema. If it's on the cinema screen, it's cinema. It doesn't have to be a serious gangster drama like what you would do. But it's still cinema. And all forms of art should be respected and consumed. Even the shite horror movies, although not that Serbian movie one that I've never watched and will never watch, that depicts, paedophilia and all of that. That guy was a fucking psychotic cunt who deserves to be put in jail. But yeah, I just thought I'd speak about that. I thought it was interesting that Paul Schrader, a man of great esteem, who penned the Raging Bull script, who worked closely with Scorsese, is coming out and contradicting the great man and giving his view. I fucked that graphic, incidentally. I've just realised I've not put a W in, so it's now Andre Garfield, it's not Andrew. I've changed his name. It's multiverse we're speaking about, so if anything goes, he is now Andre Garfield, not Andrew. Sorry, Andrew, for butchering your name. It's a very simple name, and as you can see, loads of space to fit that W in there. But look, I digress. It's going to be a short one anyway. It's not a big, long, airy conversation I'm going to have about this. Not comments I'm going to have. There's no conversation. There's nobody to reciprocate. He's been out and he's obviously rubbished his potential appearance in No Way Home, be it a cameo or a co-lead, as some people have reported in different areas of the internet. And he, of course, he says, I'm not in it. I don't think I can convince anybody either way. But I'm pretty much fucked, I think he said. That was his words, not mine. And of course, straight after that, today, to be precise, we've got people sharing, circulating the video of him, presumably, I put it in there in inverted commas, or just commas, inverted comma, set, because I don't know where it is. I don't know when it's from. He could be deep-faked. It might not even be him. It could be a fucking stuntman. But there seems to be a shot of him behind the scenes, potentially on the set of No Way Home. No audio, so that's dodgy. Always makes me think fake. And it looks as though he's having a conversation and potentially could very well contradict what he says when he says he's not in the movie. Well, I can't verify the veracity of the claims. I can't verify the authenticity of this video. I'm going to fucking play it. I'll probably get copyright striked. Lord knows why. As you can see, he's just sitting there and he's having a silent conversation. It looks as though it's on the set of a movie anyway, and it does, in fairness, It really does look like it is his suit. It does look like his suit. But this could have been taken from 5-6 years ago when he was doing The Amazing Spider-Man. So I don't think myself, but the one thing I would say, it does look as though he's having a conversation with another character in a Spider-Man suit, with the caveat that it looks like the exact same fucking suit that he's wearing. So not much to go on there. But they're circulating it anyway. They're trying to contradict him. They're trying to stoke up the sort of furious anticipation that this guy is in the movie and that he's lying, and it's all a big elaborate hoax from Sony and Marvel to keep us baying mobs that are Marvel fans and Spider-Man fans at ease, not to get our hopes up, so they can get us in the theatre, and if he is in it we can wet our little pants like Beatles fans in the 1960s. I don't know whether he's in the movie or not. He may be telling the truth. It may be like Count Dooku in the Attack of the Clones. He tells it all to Obi-Wan. He says, look, what if I were to tell you that the Senate was getting controlled by a Sith Lord? He tells him because he knows he wouldn't believe him. Maybe that's what he's doing here. Maybe he's telling us the truth. He ain't in the movie, knowing that we will not believe him. Maybe he's telling us because he is in the fucking movie and he knows that we won't believe him. I don't know what's going on. I hope he is in it. We've got Electro in it. We've got villains from Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man movies in it, the same actors. It would be nonsensical to me to not bring back those two Spider-Man actors if you bring the villains from their movies back. And it's a multiverse movie, and you've got a chance to conclude those great actors' times, their tenures with the character in a fitting and beautiful manner, which hasn't happened. So it just makes sense to me. I just cannot fathom any universe, be it multiverse or ours, where Kevin Feige has that at in his grasp and doesn't utilise it, where Sony, knowing how much fucking money the movie would make if you have these two actors come back and fight with Tom Holland against a Sinister Six, if they got that right and they brought them back, that's a fucking $2 billion movie, man. It's $1.5 billion movie. Mega bucks. So look, I don't know what's happening, and I have called him Andre Garfield. I'll just address that once again. But what, moving on, man. Speaking of movies, speaking of what ifs, have I seriously got 3 other topics to speak about? Fucking hell. It's knocking on half 11 here. Leaving half 11. James Gunn has been out and he says that someone is going to snuff it in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. And we have got some people here, some fans on Twitter, I presume, try to put their sleuth brains into action and find out who the fuck it is that could potentially be biting the dust. For me, it's an obvious one. There can only really be one character that dies, and that's the one that's already confirmed he's leaving and will not be back, and has been out attacking the creative decision making surrounding his character. But we'll read the article and we'll see what people are saying, see if they share my thoughts. Once upon a time, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 was supposed to be our entry point into Phase 4. What a glorious time that was before scandals over tweets that were a decade old. A glorious time. Unfortunately, that didn't work out. Now we sit here a little bit less than 2 years from the film's release, with the events of the 2 previous Guardians movies, as well as the last Avengers movie, have given us some general ideas about the new movie. What the new movie will hold, I should say. We don't really know anything specific about what we're in for, except that apparently one thing, somebody will die. And of course, it's probably a single sentence tweet from James Gunn, it always is, saying, yeah, somebody's going to die. Yeah, there you go, confirmed that yes, somebody will. Recently, a Twitter account reposted the incredibly vague detail that somebody will apparently perish. He always does it. He always does a single word answer on Twitter, and people create a whole fucking article around it on the likes of Cinema Blend. He's incredibly succinct with his thoughts. What the fuck is that? Some of the random shit that pops up, I'm telling you, man, puts me back to a reaction we did, and it was young Asians hot for old guys, and I'm like, am I really that old? Am I 32? Why is that getting shown to me? Are they trying to tell me something? Am I old? Thought it was still a young thing. But I digress. This is some of the thoughts of people on that Cinema Blend have dug out on Twitter and who they think it could be. James Gunn says someone will die in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. You've only really got a choice of these guys, and it can't be him. It can't be her. It really can't be her. They just brought her fucking back. I'd be absolutely shocked if it was him. Don't give a fuck if it's her. Groot must be here somewhere. It can't be him. He's already died. They can't do that to him. And obviously, they've done it in the past. They've killed characters off many, many times. And also this guy here, and Dave Bautista has already confirmed that he's done with the character after 3. And of course, Christina is thinking along the same lines as me. I say Drax, the first colour of the film logo. She's going deeper though. She's going for deep cut. She's looking at the fucking logos and the colours of them. The first colour of the film logo was sort of Groot's colour. It is. You're quite right. We all know what happened with Groot. Second is blue. Yondu died. Ah. See what you're doing here, Christina. I like it. And volume 3 seems to be the Drax. It seems to be Drax's skin tone. Just my observation, so I'm going with Drax. You're absolutely fucking right, by the way. You're absolutely right. That is Drax's skin colour. That is Groot. And that is Yondu. There's a red that was on his head. I think we could end this topic just now. Christina seems to have cracked the mystery. Yeah, it's definitely Drax's time. I'm absolutely certain it is, regardless of the colour of the logo. Well, that'd be fucking really cool. If they actually were deep cutting and putting it in the logo, who's going to die? That'd be interesting. And Christina continues, is this the same one? I say Drax, yeah, it's the same one. Don't care. No, it's raccoon colour. Really? Really? Rocket will die. They've talked about his shorter life compared to others, but a longer one than a raccoon. He's not young. He will die in Quill's arms. Really? That doesn't look like Rocket Raccoon's colours. I maybe have to search it. Go up and look at Rocket. Nah, that ain't Rocket Raccoon's colours, man. You're talking shite. That is Drax's colours. You can see it there. Grey. Talking pish. Rocket ain't dying. I'm convinced Rocket will get some sort of spin-off movie or TV show looking into his past. He's probably the most interesting character out of aside from Peter Quill. I want to see more of Rocket. I don't want him to die. And look, of course, your buddy Mike. I'm not going to linger on this too long. There's probably a couple of more and I'll read them. That'll be me. I love that no one in the comments thinks it'll be Star-Lord. Not a fucking chance. Going to be that much more shocking. They just wrote out Steve, Nat and Tony. Say bye-bye to Chris Pratt. Everyone, don't you dare. You fucker. I love Chris Pratt. I don't want him to go anywhere. What a character. And look, I remember vividly going to see the original Guardians in 2014. I'm pretty sure it was 2014. And just him, come and get your love, and dancing about with the aliens. It was a fucking great cinematic moment for me. I'd be dismayed, to say the least, if Peter Quill died. Star-Lord himself. Yeah, obviously the bad guy, he didn't say one of the Guardians of the Galaxy will die, did he? He didn't, but I think he is telling the truth here. James is always a very honest man. And I think it will be Drax. I'm absolutely certain Drax will die, because there's no real way to rewrite him or write him out of the actual story if he doesn't die and he's not going to be there. How do you explain his absence? You'd have to kill him between movies and explain why he's not there. Kill him off, get him to fuck. He's an interesting character, but he's overstayed his welcome, and they never did address the comeuppance for Thanos for killing his family, so there's no need for this character anymore, so get him away. That's what I say. Drax. Moving on to this though, there's been reactions to Halloween Kills. Halloween Kills has screened to some lucky bastards, it seems a month early, because I'm pretty sure it comes out next month. I may be wrong though. And they've been sharing their thoughts, and by all accounts, I've not read the reactions yet. I want to leave that to the show until I'm actually doing it. It's split reactions, so that concerns me slightly. Because this movie, I had high hopes for this movie. I had high hopes because, as I said previously, David Gordon Green's original sequel, Halloween from 2017-16, was underwhelming for me. It wasn't a bad movie, but it just wasn't what I was expecting. It felt like it used more of the screen time to actually introduce the granddaughter of Laurie Strode, so she could pass the baton on and potentially do the running about that Laurie Strode can't do now because she's older and she's eccentric. It seemed to be a connective movie. We'll take the elements of the original in 78, 79, I don't know what year it came out. I wasn't alive. And then we'll flesh out these new characters, and then we'll continue the story into the final two movies of this trilogy, if it is a trilogy. There'll be more, I'm certain. So I had high hopes for this movie, and I was hoping it was going to be very good. And it dismays me, and it may still. It does dismay me. Why am I getting fucking boots recommended to me? It is Red Wings, so I do like my Red Wings. It dismays me that at least some people are saying that it's split. It's split. We'll see what they're saying. I don't know. Let's get to it. Where are the fucking tweets? Come on to fuck. MovieWeb, get your shit together. IGN! Halloween Kills delivers deliciously gory kills. Oh, good. And nods to John Carpenter's original classic, but still feels like half a movie. That's what I got from the original. It felt like half a movie. It had the homage, he's getting paid, if homage being paid, but it was missing something. It was half a movie, and that'd be really disappointing if ultimately at the end of this trilogy you have 3 half movies and you could piece them all together and make one cohesive whole movie. That'd be a real disappointing end. It'd leave a bitter taste in my mouth if that's the case. Fandom Empire, HK Halloween Kills. By the way, some fucker on that show last night in one of those articles shortened Spider-Man No Way Home to Spider-Man NWH, and it wound me up. It's No Way Home, man. It's so easy to write. You've got huge amounts of space for that headline, and they wrote NWH. I'd fucking burn them at the stake, and I would burn Fandom Empire at the stake for writing HK as well, but they've got an excuse here on Twitter. There's a character limit. HK has a scope and scale like no other slasher, while H18 is Laurie's movie, Halloween Kills is Michael's. It was 2018 then. I got it wrong. I say 16 then 17. The 78 flashback, I got that right, semi-right. Will blow people away. There is a lot of original characters coming back. The kill count is insane, heard that before. It's Halloween Kills, for fuck's sake. The cinematographer is Very Dean Cundy, I don't know how to pronounce that. The best Halloween movie since the OG. Well, that's more what I want to hear. I want to hear the best Halloween movie since the OG. Of course, no better, because it can't be. But that excites me slightly to hear that. Variety, Halloween Kills review. I'm not going to read your review, Variety. I ain't got time for that. It will feed your nostalgia for mediocre slasher sequels. Oh, that's concerning. For mediocre slasher sequels. That tells me it's a mediocre slasher sequel then. Or maybe Variety's thoughts on it are mediocre. Time will tell. Raphael Motamea. Why can we never just get fucking normal names? Fucking mental names. Halloween Kills is a darker, meaner, more disturbing entry in the franchise. The kills are absolutely brutal and shocking in the best way. I love it. It was great seeing old characters again, and there is a flashback that blew my mind. Sadly, this is 100% half a film, and it ends abruptly. Oh, so they're meaning it in that sense. It's a half story, almost like Infinity War, and you need to see the original. Actually, that's fine for me if that's what the case is. It's a 2-part. It's almost like a 2-act movie. You set up the characters, and then you create a 2-act piece with a sort of 1-year intermission, because I think they've shot these 2 movies. I may be wrong, though. I may be wrong. And obviously you conclude the events of this movie with Halloween Ends. That'd be fine. I'd be happy with that. Not happy this year, but happy when I see it complete, because of course we got that with it. Chapter 1 and Chapter 2, and I didn't mind that. Halloween 2018 is Laurie Strode's. It's Laurie Strode. It's messy but warm and likeable. Halloween Kills is Michael Myers, a coldly efficient killing machine slaughtering everything in its past. The level of carnage in this is frankly astounding. You never seen a slasher movie on this scale. Oh, that sounds amazing, man. That's why I go and watch these movies. I go and see them to see Michael Myers murdering people all over the place. That's what it's all about. Laurie Strode's an interesting little, I don't know what you'd call it, an interesting little tangent. But it's all about Michael and that mask and the boiler suit and the incredible new ways and scenarios in which he finds to kill people. That's what it's all about for me. He's one of the most that's it done. He's one of the most iconic movie villains, and we always need a movie like this where it's just him massacring people, and then you obviously settle it at an indeterminate point in the future. In this case, the next movie, Halloween Ends. And this is music to my fucking ears, man. We already got some very interesting kills in that movie from 2018. Of course, my favourite was a little fat drunk kid getting trapped in the darkened garden and getting fucking murdered and hooked, I believe. That was a special death. I enjoyed that a lot. Can you tell I'm a sick, twisted bastard and I get quite a lot of enjoyment out of these slasher movies? I know I'm not alone. There's many people like me. But look, moving on to the next topic. This is the last topic. I says it would end peculiar. In a peculiar fashion. We start off with headline of obviously The Matrix Resurrections in its trailer. That's everywhere. And we slowly just go out with a whimper to the point where we're talking about Daniel Radcliffe naming his favourite Harry Potter movie. I want to say 9 years after it all ended. And apparently, according to this article, not the one they would have guessed, Corey Chichizola. These fucking names, man. Oh my days, these names are fucked. Chichizola. I don't know where they get these people. I really don't know where they dig these names out of. It's like a fucking name generator. Just search up name generator and it'll come up with Corey Chichizola. But I digress. It wasn't the one he'd have guessed. That's because he's not Daniel Radcliffe and it's not his fucking favourite. It's Daniel's. And look, I know the movie he's picked and I've seen no issue with it whatsoever. I thought it was a good movie. It was a movie that really kick-started that darkness. Well, you could say, without giving it away what he chose, Prisoner of Azkaban get pretty dark. And then it lightened up and we realised who Sirius Black was. And then obviously you go into Goblet of Fire. That's the first time we see Voldemort fully formed. That was probably the start of the darkness. But the movie he's chose is Order of the Phoenix. I'm going to give it away. And you start, seeing some real darkness. Bellatrix Lestrange kills Sirius. There's a lot of shit going on in it. And I thought it was a great movie, one of the standouts. And of course you have the Imelda Staunton playing, I'm forgetting her name now. I forget the character's name. The little evil fucker dressed in pink with an infatuation for cats who carves stuff into Harry's hand. She's in it. So there's a lot of elements to this and I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the movie, so it doesn't surprise me that he's chosen this one. Daniel Radcliffe has grown into a respected grown-up actor, but obviously his name is synonymous with Harry Potter films. Like much of the cast, I should say, he doesn't rewatch the blockbusters, but his favourite movie from the bunch might take some fans off guard, as he put it. Why would it? The fifth one, which is not the one most people cite as one of their favourites. Actually, my favourite is Half-Blood Prince. It's not the Christopher Columbus original two. When you had the original Dumbledore and it wasn't Michael Gambon. They were great movies, man. I enjoy all of them. I think they're all fucking great. I really enjoy the Harry Potter movies. But for me, Half-Blood Prince, there's something about it. The tone of it, it's like a coming-of-age movie. Ron Weasley gets his moment, and I enjoy Rupert Grint. I think he's a great actor. I liked him in Cherry Bomb, I think it was. So he had his moment. He had his little triumphant moment playing Quidditch, playing the keeper. And just the vibe of it. Draco, you see the darkness. The score's incredible. I'm trying to remember who does the score now off the top of my head, but it's an incredible fucking score. Nicholas... can't recall the name. It's Nicholas something anyway. And obviously, in Nocturne, I think it is, it get cut out with Severus Snape looking at the sky clouding over just before the death of Albus Dumbledore. An incredible movie. Fucking love it. Just love it. But this one he chose, Order of the Phoenix, that's the one it obviously just comes before that, and I thought that was a great movie as well. I'm trying to remember the now, and it's annoying me that I can't recall it. The name of Dumbledore's army, isn't it? And they go to the room of requirements. There's elements of that movie I really enjoy, so it doesn't surprise me that he's picked it. I thought it was and they're all good, and ultimately it's his choice, and it's his experience on the set as well. It's probably not just creatively what the movie was like. It's probably his experience filming it. And the vibes and the nostalgia he gets, that's probably why he likes it. And he says it himself, he actually brings it up, I think he actually does, I've not even read it. He does, there you go, the fifth one, which I've read it, Walking with Gary, blah blah blah, appreciate it more, but you watched probably the last one. Did I read that? Even now I think I'm losing the fucking plot, I was sort of a little bit older, blah blah blah, yeah I did read it, I'm sure I did. He obviously appreciates the last one as in terms of to watch, but his experience on the set, working with the likes of Gary Oldman and I'm blanking on Helena Bonham Carter and all of that madness, and your man who played Remus Lupin, who I'm blanking on just now as well, his name, fucking brilliant actor, he was in Wonder Woman obviously. David Thewlis. Obviously that experience rubbed off on him, and that's why he enjoys it the most. Look man, I love Harry Potter, I can speak about Harry Potter all fucking day. I've read the books many times. I love the characters, I love the world it conjures up, it brings back that childhood wonder within you. And the movies are the same, brilliant movies, perfectly cast. Like Sir Tom Felton, Rupert Grint, Emma Watson, Daniel Radcliffe, Matthew Lewis, even the little guy who plays Seamus, Ivana Lynch, just perfectly cast movies. You've got the old school actors, the likes of your Michael Gambons, your Richard Harrises, your Maggie Smiths, your Alan Rickmans. Brilliant fucking movies, really enjoyed them, and I miss them. I miss the fact they're away, but look, that's life. Life moves on. Flows on within you and without you, get on with it. But look, I digress on that note. That little mental fucking peculiar ending. I'm going to round the show. What is your thoughts on the topics I've touched upon? If you end up getting to here at some point, or if you're fucking watching it, good luck to you. What do you make about the Matrix Resurrections trailer that dropped not that long ago at all? I want to say about 10 hours ago, 9.5 hours ago. What was your thoughts on the creative decisions of not bringing Lawrence Fishburne back, bringing in Yahya Abdul-Mateen? On the synopsis as well, it seems to hint that it's going to ignore the previous two and just take it from the OG. What do you make about the other topics, the likes of Andrew Garfield? A video of him potentially being on the set circulating about. of Paul Schrader coming out and contradicting Martin Scorsese, the writer of Raging Bull, about Marvel movies, of Harry Potter, and of Halloween Kills, and its split reaction. Favourite Harry Potter movie, incidentally. If you want to share that, put that down below. Get some conversation on the go. You can also like the video if you've enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel, and hit the follow button over on Twitch if you want to see more content like this in the future, and that's how you will enable it. Me, Stephen and Roof will be back tomorrow to review Sir Harry Potter from Syria. Stephen rates it highly. I've yet to see it. I'm going to watch it after this. And if you want to see that, you can subscribe. All the rest. If you don't, that's fine. But until then, I am done. I'm dehydrated. It's so fucking warm. Bye bye.